Hello, good morning to everybody in the US and good evening to everybody in India. So today we are very excited to have our Bharatiya Stotra Bodha series talk number 35 on Sri M.D. Ramanathan's life and contributions to Carnatic music. We're very honored to have the keynote topic being delivered by Sri Balaji Ramanathan from Memphis, USA. So we'll start with our Veda Kusumanjali and then we'll go through the program. So Ravindra Garu, please.
Yeah. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om Bhadram Karne Vishnu Yama Deva Bhadram Pashe Maksha Bhirya Jatra Sirairangai Suštuvagum Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashava Swasti na Pusha Vishwaved.
How people become mute?
Yeah, so Rajgopalan sir, are you able to finish? You're saying you're muted.
Yeah.
Sorry, line got.
Oh.
Are we back? Are we back?
Yeah, Ravindra Garu, please continue. Yes.
Continue, sir.
Yeah. Om Agnena Supataraye Aseva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyodhyas Majjuhuranameno Huyishtam Tenama Uktim Videma Om Shanti 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 Om A Brahman Brahmano Brahmavarchasi Jayatam Arashtre Rajanyah Shura Ishavyoti Maharatho Jayatam Dogdhi Dhrenurvoda Nadvan Ashut Sapti Purandar Yosha Jishnu Radheshta Sabheyo Yuva Asya Yajamanasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Nikamena Pajjanyo na Varshatu Phalavatyo na Oshadayah Pacyantam Yogakshemyo na Kalpetam Om Shanti 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 Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshuhu Srotramatho Balamindriyani cha sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakaroda Nirakaramasva Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharma Shanti Shanti Om Shancha me Mayascha me Priyancha me No Kamascha me Kamascha me Saumanasascha me Bhadrancha me Sreyascha me Vasyascha me Yashascha me Bhagascha me Dravidancha me Yantacha me Dhartacha me Kshemascha me Dhrutischa me Vishwancha me Mahascha me Samvicha me Gnatrancha me Suscha me Prasuscha me Sirancha me Layascha Marudancha me Mrutancha me Yakshmancha me Namayachcha me Jivatuscha me Dirghayutvancha me Namitrancha me Abhayancha me Sugancha me Shayanancha me Sushacha me Sudinancha me Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you very much.
So now I'll play an invocation song by Srimati Adhigiri. And thank you, Ravindra Garu, for a very wonderful Veda Kusumanjali. Thank you so much. Let me play the Veda Kusumanjali. Sorry, the Sangeetanjali, sir.
महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि 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 वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितमहागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि. महादेवसुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मारकोटि प्रकाशं शान्तं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मारकोटि प्रकाशं शान्तं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियम् महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं पानि सनि पसनि पमग पमरिसा मरिसा सनि पम मरिसनि पम पनि सम पनि गम पसनि पम गमरिसा रिसनि पम गमरिसा रिगम पनि सरि रिम पनि सनि पमरिसा पप स स प स रिसनि पम गम पनि समरि स रिसनि पम पप्पा सनि पमरि स नि सरि गम महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि वसिष्ठवामदेवादिवन्दितं महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि.
Yeah, thank you, Srimati Adhigiri. Now we will play one more invocation by my mother, Dr. Sita Ramalakshmi. So this is just audio. That is.
I am Dr. Sita Ramalakshmi, retired professor of music. Now I am going to sing a song in Raga Ritigaula set to Rupakatala. This song is I used to listen through Professor M.D. Ramanathan sir when he was giving like concerts in Bengaluru. I heard first time and I impressed by this song's content. This is Manasa Puja Kirtana. Need not have the material for the worship. Our mind itself is everything. The devotion inside human beings are enough for the puja vidhi, said by Tyagaraja. The same song is my favoritely I heard through Professor M.D. Ramanathan sir's voice. His voice is very, very bhavayukta, and I used to enjoy his voice. Not only this composition, so many other compositions also I heard his not only me, my family members are all impressed through his voice renderings. So now I am going to sing Preetikola Raga Rupakatala composition Paripalaya Paripalaya. As I said, it is a Manasa Puja Kirtana. Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Tanuveni kanuvaina Sadanamora Raghunatha Natanubeni kanuvaina Sadanamora Raghunatha Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Sirachitamu varachami Karapitamu Raghunatha Stirachitamu varachami Karapitamu Raghunatha Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Supadhyanamu Suraganga Jalamo Raghunatha Supadhyanamu Suraganga Jalamo Raghunatha Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Ipapalaka Abhimanamu Shubhachelamu Raghunatha Ipapalaka Abhimanamu Shubhachelamu Raghunatha Paripalaya 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 Raghunatha Ghana Kirtini Palke Vasana Gandhamu Raghunatha Ghana Kirtini పల్కే వాసన గంధము రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ 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 రఘునాథ హరినామ స్మరణంబులు విరులౌరా రఘునాథ హరినామ స్మరణంబులు విరులౌరా రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ 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 రఘునాథ తొలి దుష్కృత ఫలమెల్ల గుగ్గుల ధూపము రఘునాథ తొలి దుష్కృత ఫలమెల్ల గుగ్గుల ధూపము రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ 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 రఘునాథ నీ పద భక్తే పొందును దీపంబగు రఘునాథ నీ పద భక్తే పొందును దీపంబగు రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ 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 రఘునాథ నిన్ను చూచుటే ఘన దీపారాధనమో రఘునాథ నిన్ను చూచుటే ఘన దీపారాధనమో రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ 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 రఘునాథ పూజా విధి నైజ త్యాగరాజకృతము రఘునాథ పూజా విధి నైజ త్యాగరాజకృతము రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ 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 రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ రఘునాథ పరిపాలయ రఘునాథ. This is how I am singing, but I will show just now. I heard through M.D.Ramanathan sir's voice like this, just one charana. Paripalaya, 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 Raghunatha. Paripalaya, 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 Raghunatha. I used to enjoy that type of complete feeling inside the bhakti bhava of the lyrics and along with the Riti Gowda raga essence. Very nice of you to listen this particular version of M.D. Ramanathan sir's also style. Thank you so much. Bye.
Hi, you are muted, Anna. Yeah, can you please introduce the speaker on the topic?
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr. Sita Ramalakshmi, for rendering that beautiful Manasa Puja Kriti of Tyagaraja. And so many ideas are there in that. And I just remember Shankaracharya's most popular suggestion. He says, Vairagya Taila Sampurne Bhaktivarti Samanvite Gnapti Deepam Dilokayet. Is Shankaracharya's suggestion and message to all of us. Vairagya is the oil, Bhakti is the Varti or the wick, and Gnapti is the result that we have got to enjoy. So this is Vedanta, Advaita. So like that, here also Tyagaraja put it like that about the Bhakti Deepam. Bhakti Deepam is how we are able to offer to Paramatma, Ramachandra, Raghunatha. It's a beautiful composition. Even earlier one sung by Yadugiri, a student of Sita Ramalakshmi and independent musician in Bangalore and a veena player. And she also obliged to give us a beautiful song video from Bangalore, thanking them. Then I have got to introduce our Balaji and Preeti, his wife, both of them. They have slowly accepted to be the members and participants and promoters of the Nada Veda Adhyayana Kendra and World Association for Vedic Studies, Bangalore chapter, and participate, give some programs also. This is the beginning. Already Preeti has made her entry by giving Sangeeta Anjali. Also, our Balaji, both of them, couple. And actually, though I visited Memphis for conducting Soundarlahari workshop and Homam, Rajagopal, he is one who is linked now, live link, Memphis and Chicago or India, Bangalore. So he just told, sir, I got Balaji, son of M.D. Ramanathan, in this place, and he will sing and for Sangeeta Anjali, and his wife also, that is the Kodalu of M.D. Ramanathan Garu. So I felt very happy. And in fact, we have already covered in this year under Stotra Bodha or Sangeeta, because Nada, Veda, Adhyayana Kendra is ours. So Nada should be promoted. And so invariably we are having some kirtanas, some programs on Nada, which involve the Sangeetam, that is Nrutyam, Geetam, Vadyam. So these three things are independent and they cover the Sangeetam, and we had all the time Geetam and also Nrutyam, and now we are having also another Geetam. And on the other hand, we have had the practice of, because of Dr. Sita Ramalakshmi, every year on our annual day, celebrating musicians. And apart from the earlier musicians like the Sangeeta Trinity, the later so many musicians are there who kept the torch of music live and made so many people feel happy and elevated to the divine levels and spiritual levels. So among them, Alamanli Krishna and all that. But M.D. Ramanathan, I have not heard him singing, but now I am listening. And I was told that he is the author of 300 compositions by himself, a past master in Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, Sanskrit, wonderful talent M.D. Ramanathan has got. And in fact, I should thank that Geeta Srinivasan, probably she may be just there to add comments, if at all. But anyway, she has given her own message regarding M.D. Ramanathan. I think I was told he was centenary, and he is a staunch devotee of Tiger Vardachar, another great musician guru. And he was so much obedient and devoted to Tiger Vardachar that whatever is connected to his guru and this institute started by guru, he is so much fond of it. Not myself talking much about M.D. Ramanathan. I asked his own M.D. Ramanathan's son, who knows him more than anybody in the world, because he has been also trained in music, and apart from the music, he has got also the profession as to be the meteorological. So the weather report he is able to give, And therefore, in Memphis, they are there. His wife also is working. Seems to be. But welcome to these two, the couple. And moreover, I will ask Rajgopalan also to just say a few words about Balaji, because he is one who introduced him to us. Rajgopalan.
Sairam Guru Gargaru. And it is a pleasure to talk about Balaji Ramanathan, who is son of Sri M.D.Ramanathan. It was a blessing to Memphis when Balaji moved from Knoxville to Memphis. And the richness of his voice and richness of what he has gained from his father was ably transmitted to all the SSC students and the Balavika students. And without taking too much time from his presentation, I welcome Balaji, and he is very ably supported, or maybe put on the path by Preeti. He is also online with us. Okay, over to Balaji.
Thank you, Raj. Namaskarams. I just want to make sure my audio is clear. Can you all hear me well? Okay. So once again, namaskarams to this August gathering. My sincere thanks to Nada Veda, Adhyayana Kendra, and Dr. Prabhakar Garu for this unique opportunity to share about my distinguished father. I want to share my thanks for the wonderful invocations that we listened a few minutes ago. Before I start, I want to set a disclaimer. It is truly a privilege and blessing for me to be here. However, at the same time, I would like to place that I'm no way qualified to talk about the illustrious life of my father, and especially his musical contributions. So to me, it is a personal journey. It is evolving over time. And I just want to make sure that, this is a humble offering that I'm going to share. And if there is anything, please bear with me. So I'm going to share my screen. Just want to can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this okay? Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So here I just want to take this next 45 minutes or little more than that, just to walk through his background, his music lineage, and also as Prabhakar Garu mentioned, Guru Bhakti was extremely important for my father, so I want to touch on that as well. And then fourth most important piece is where I want to share some of my listening experiences. What are some of the musical aspects that I personally enjoyed and I still continue to enjoy? And then he's also a Vagyakara. So just want to touch some of his compositions and his contributions from a composer perspective. And then I also want to sum it up with some of the awards and how his legacy is being celebrated. As you rightly mentioned, last year was a centenary year. The celebrations started in 2022, and we also have some events planned this year. Some events happened this year, so I will share some details about that as well. So to start with, he was born on May 20th, 1923 in the place called Manjapara. Manjapara is a village in Palghat district in Kerala. And his father was Sri Devesha Bhagavatar, who is actually a musician himself. So he's basically from a musical family. His mother is Srimati Sita Lakshmi Ammal. So my family is basically a musical family. My grandfather was a violinist / musician. And my great-grandfather, Sri Venkateshwara Bhagavatar, was also a great Vainika. So it is a musical family, and that is where he had formal exposure to music. And even though he had music as his primary education and background, he also enrolled, he did his BSc Physics in Palagat Victoria College. So he had, in 1944, he graduated from Palagat Victoria College as he was also pursuing music within the family. What I've heard is his very first concert happened around 9 or 10 years old in a Bhagavati temple in Kerala. And the family was very protective about his learning, and they wanted to make sure that he gets advanced learning, and then before exposing this child to many musical performances. So that is how this journey started. And after finishing his BSc Physics in 1944, he joined Kalakshetra. I'm sure many of you have heard of this Kalakshetra institution in Chennai. This was formed by Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale. I'm sure many know about Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale. She is a theosophist. She was also a Bharatanatyam dancer and choreographer and an animal welfare activist. She was basically a visionary and a reformist responsible for revival of Bharatanatyam to be positioned as a true art form. So she had this vision of starting this institution. She invited several doyens from the field of Carnatic music and dance to this institution. And in a way, we can say that she was the first to have an institutionalized Gurukula system. I believe she was inspired by Shantiniketan in Kolkata, and that what was one of the trigger for her to start something similar in the South. And she invited several distinguished musicians and gurus. And interestingly, I was able to find a picture of when this Sangeeta Shiromani course was started. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of my father in this photo, but we can see Tiger Vardacharya, Mysore Vasudevacharya, and Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale herself. And this is the great legendary Krishnamacharya, who is the brother of Tiger Vardacharya. So this was when this picture was taken, when this course was initiated, actually. So this was an important moment in my father's history, because he came under this institution and he was the first student of this Sangeeta Shiromani course. And I actually would want to share something where he himself shares about how he came to Kalakshetra. It's a short video clip I'm going to play. Please let me know if you can hear the audio. If there is any issues, then let me know. Is the audio okay? I just want to confirm.
It's a little feeble, but we can hear.
Okay, let me see if I have to increase it. Is this better?
Finished.
In what field was it?
Physics.
Yeah.
In physics.
I was a physics student. And then I came to Kalakshetra, and naturally they had started this Sangeeta Shiromani course. I was the only student, and my master was here after Annamalai University. He came here.
Had you heard of Tiger before? Had you ever heard him sing? Or?
I had heard about his name. Just when people, my father and other musicians used to say, "Oh, there's a great musician who is rather a musician of musicians, and people should hear his music." Though he was not actually for a platform, like a platform musician type. He was an authority in music and so on and so forth. They used to talk sometimes. So I had only hearsay of things. And it was my good fortune and privilege to come like this and to be very close to him for a number of years like that. Very close to him, and of course Kalakshetra atmosphere and all that. It was very, very natural. And
You were together every day, I think.
Almost together. Though I lived with my parents used to follow me. Like anything in my high school days, college days, in Kalakshetra life.
You were their only son, weren't you?
Yes, I am the only son. 4 or 5 children died very young, and myself and my only sister survived. So naturally, my parents were very much attached to me. So they followed me like anything. So even in Adhyayana, I was here in nearby that, village. next street we used to their house. It was just
Here in
there
Adhyayana?
still, yes. Very next street there. Yes. We were there.
You mean where the Theosophical Society
It was a society quarters. In fact, they gave me as a student very nominal rent and all that. Very considerate because I was a very qualified student and all that. And they were very watchful about my progress. They were almost all those seniors those days. They were all very much interested.
It was like a close family.
Close family.
Oh.
And my master also developed a sort of father and son relationship. Naturally, I had also that sort of parental regard and much more. And he knew from the very beginning, in fact, that his type of music, though he had numerous students in the Music Academy, Madras University, and Annamalai University, nobody could ever go near his style. All simply gazed at him and simply paid tribute.
He had a very unusual style then,
Unusual style.
and no one could imitate
Very
it.
unusual style, very individualistic. It required a lot of assimilation and observation. The type of voice it required.
He paid a lot of attention to the words of the songs, I think.
Of course,
Was that-
he knew almost half of the languages: Sanskrit, Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, very fine English also, and he had a very fine background of things. Apart from the word meaning and all that, he plunged into the central bhava of the composer, Kavi Hridaya, poet's mind, as we call it. So he had a very high sense of sensitiveness and approach to things, and that made his music very, very subtle.
So that's why it's difficult
When
to
he
imitate.
rendered compositions, technicalities means raga and swara singing, tanam, and all those things by himself. It was also inimitable. So in those days, great musicians, his contemporaries, even his seniors, say Muthiya Bhavadar, Vasudevachar, his own senior, Patna Subramanian's disciple, he was Puchinga,
That's right. But his style was very different.
Very
from
difficult, very
Subramanian.
difficult. All those great musicians of his own times, a bit earlier and before, after, all musicians used to admire him like anything. They used to simply adore him like unanimous opinion, no two opinion. At conferences, he was a very wonderful exponent of music, rather. The Music Academy conferences, when he used to discuss with ragas, the Raga Sanchara and Raga Lakshmana and all that, he used to give wonderful comments.
That's right. He was a real musicologist. A scholar.
So this video was shot actually was in our house by Dr. Amy Catlin and Dr. Frederick Lieberman. They visited Chennai in 1977, and that is when this video was shot. So again, so just one more few pictures of him in Kalakshetra. So basically, he started there as a student and joined as an assistant professor, and then he was a professor, and he retired he didn't retire actually. He passed away when he was a principal of that institution. So again, as I said, there are so many great doyens from this institution. We can see this is Rukmini Devi Arundale, this is Budlur Krishnamurti Shastrigal, and this is Dhananjayan, one of the most renowned dancers that we know. So that is, now I just want to go into a little bit to his lineage. If you look at his Guru Parampara, it starts with Saint Tyagaraja. And of course, we don't need any further introduction about Saint Tyagaraja. One of his direct disciples was Manambuchavadi Venkata Subbayar, who was also a cousin of Tyagaraja, who was one of his direct disciples. And many of you might have heard the Jalajakshi Varnam in Amsadwani, that was his composition. So he also had, this mudra of Venkatesha, that was his mudra, which he used for his compositions. His disciples included Patnam Subramanian, who was another great composer, who actually has composed close to 100 compositions. The very famous Raghuvamsha Sutta that we hear, the Kadana Kutuhalam Ragam, was his invention. So there are a lot of compositions that are popularized by Sri Pattam Subramania Iyer, and we can hear many of his compositions in concerts nowadays. And his mudra was also Venkatesha. And amongst Patnam Subramania Iyer's disciples was the legendary Sri Tiger Varadacharya. Sri Tiger Varadacharya and Mysore Vasudevacharya, they were all disciples of Sri Pattam Subramania Iyer. Sri Tiger Varadacharya is he is a multi-dimensional personality. He was a musicologist, he was a scholar, and we just heard my father talk about him. So he got this title of Tiger by the Mysore Maharaja, who heard his musical performances, and he gave this title because of his proficiency and the command over music. And he is responsible for institutionalizing music education in many places. He served as a faculty in Annamala University, in Music Academy. So many institutions. He was responsible for formal musical education, defining the curriculum and establishing that education. So he was actually in his very last years of his life. Basically, he was he entered Kalakshetra, I think, when he was when he was around 70 or approaching more than 70, around 1942 or 43. And that is when this association, and he in his last years was there in Kalakshetra until he passed away in 1950. And needless to say, his direct disciple is my father. And my father was, as he just mentioned, he was very closely associated with, I used to refer to him as Tiger Tata, because he was instrumental in transforming in the entire transformation for my father's life, not just the music. Such a guru shishya bandham that they had is basically, my father was kind of Swami Vivekananda to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. That's the kind of comparison that he always used to have. And any interviews that we had, we have seen or we have heard, any interview about my father would actually pivot towards his guru. And I'm just going to share a few more details about his Guru Bhakti. So Appas, and in all his interviews and talks, he's never uttered his name. I always used to address him as his master or sir. And he has composed Varada Bhakta Vijayam, which is a different verses in praise of his guru. And his mudra, my father's mudra, is basically Varada Dasa. So Varada Dasa is mainly as a dasa of Sri Varadacharya. And he has also composed kritis. There is a kriti in Raga Hamsadvani, Sri Guruvaram Ashraye, where it is entirely about his guru. And my Sharma is actually Shankara Varada Deva. So Varada is the middle of my Sharma, which is being used. He also built his house. Our house in Chennai today is basically located very close to where his guru used to spend his life. So my mom has shared with me that one of the reasons why he chose that location was from the terrace, the terrace where you just saw the interview where the interview was taken. From that terrace onwards, he actually would be able to see his guru's house. I personally have this memory of going with him for walks into Theosophical Society. If any of you have been to Chennai and to the Theosophical Society, it is a beautiful green, very nature-filled location, and even people go for walks there. So I used to go for a walk with my father, and he used to take a moment to actually glance the house, or even sometimes enter that house where his guru used to be. So his Guru Bhakti was very well known, so much to that extent that I want to share this picture. This was his photo when he was a youngster, when he was young, and then by the time he was growing old, he developed this squint in his eyes, very similar to his Guru. So I'm not sure if this is medically possible, but it is perceived and believed that he deliberately wanted this squint in his eyes to be like his guru. So now I would like to move on to, so this is again, this is the formal graduation of my father, and he actually had a vocal concert on that day, and the chief guest was T.R. Venkatrama Shastri, and there was also a diamond ring that was presented to him, which my guru, which my father was wearing it for a long time. That was the diamond ring of Sri Tiger Varadacharya himself. In 1947, there was a music competition that was held in Chennai in Mailai Sangeeta Sabha, and Appa rendered Enduro Mahanubhavulu and won the first prize. And the chief guest for that was Sri Tiger Varadacharya, and he gave a Ramar Pattabhishekam Vigraham, which is even to this date, my mom is, she is basically, that is the Vigraha that is part of our prayer room in our house. So now I've covered his background. I want to go into the music side of his. Here, I'm going to share some of the audio clips, and there are a few things that I basically enjoyed. The first thing that comes to me or to anybody that listens to my father is his voice. And this voice is so rich and powerful. And I've heard many musicians, and I personally heard the concert, but I didn't have the realization to understand, or even now I truly don't have the realization to understand the depth of his greatness. But when I hear his voice, or even many musicians have mentioned that even in a single note, he will be able to fill that auditorium. That is the richness of his voice. So this actually was the very first release. It was the EP release of my father. And interestingly, that was the invocation song that Dr. Sita Lakshmi Garu rendered earlier. So it had Utsava Sampradaya Kriti, which is Paripalaya, and there was another composition in Nilambari, Rama Rama, which actually was my father's composition, but he dedicated this to Saint Tyagaraja. So I just want to play a little bit of Paripalaya in his voice itself. We can just listen to it.
Paripalaya, Paripalaya, Paripalaya Raghunatha. 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 Sadana Mora Raghunatha. Tanuve Nikanuaila Sadana Mora Raghunatha. Paripalaya, Paripalaya, Paripalaya Raghunatha. Paripalaya, Paripalaya, Paripalaya Raghunatha.
So this actually this Paripalaya and Rama Rama used to feature often in radio. Actually, There used to be a program called Kalai Malar. So many times they used to broadcast this, and I have memories of getting up in the morning listening to these two compositions. The other aspect of my father's music that I really want to cover is so here I personally felt and I've noticed this in multiple instances that there is a very holistic view of a composition is presented. And he is very well known for Endro Mahanubhavulu. He has rendered this Kriti, the very famous Pancharatna Kriti, in sometimes in 10, 12 minutes, or he has also taken this composition as one of the main pieces in the concert and has rendered this for an hour. So the amount of the depth that he brings out in this composition is very unique, and he is very well known for that. And it almost, I personally felt that every time he sings this and every note that he presents, it has a purpose, whether starting from the alapana and going through the composition itself. I'm just going to pick up few snippets of this composition just to share his creative process. And again, please bear with me because in the interest of time, I am just trying to give a wide range of audio clips, and I'm hoping that the audio is fine. You're all able to hear it well. So this is a small glimpse of the alapana. Usually when we hear Endro Mahanubhavulu, it is rendered as a Pancharatnam. It's basically a it's a short offering, and then they have other ragams which is being explored in depth. But this is one instance where he actually took this ragam, and I'm just sharing a part of this alapana. So, I mean, you can notice the bass voice he had, which he was very well known for. So it was very difficult for the accompanying Vidwans to ensure that the instrument was also, it had to be handled with great care to be able to match up with my father's Shruti. Now, I just want to show another creative process that he had, and even starting this kriti. I'm sure most of the renditions, start the entire Pallavi as Indra Mahanubhavalu, but he actually had a very unique way of exploring a different approach, which I just want to play for a short clip to illustrate this. This is from the same concept. So as you can notice, just starting the kriti with just Mahanubhavalu is almost like a Neraval kind of an approach. Neraval is one where we take a line and expand on it, but he innovated this, and he used this approach to even start that kriti, just to give that grandeur that kriti deserved. So I also want to continue on this. So this is something that Appa actually wrote. This was an article on that he wrote on the Pancharatna Kritis. So he basically mentions that the eternal creations of the saint therefore demands from time to time sincere, serious, spontaneous researches embracing the multifarious aspects like Ragabhavam, Sahitya Gambhiryam, Laya Vinyasam, Bhakti Prabhavam, and Swara Pravaha. So this was an article that he wrote on all Pancharatna Kritis, and we have audio recordings of Jagdananda Karaka or Endoro Mahanubhavulu or even Sadhinchane, and we can feel that it is actually whatever he has written here, he actually did perform. I just want to show one more clip of one Charanam in just to show us an illustration of how he handled this. Parama Bhagavatamu Nivarashasi Vibhakaratana Sandana Parama Bhagavatamu Nivarashasi Vibhakaratana Parama Bhagavatamu Nivarashasi Vibhakaratana Sandana Tijusha Surakim Purusha Kanakakashipu Sutanarada Kumburu Surakim Purusha Kanakakashipu Sutanarada Kumburu Pavanatu Alachandradhar Sukadaro Jamava Usurabaru Usurabaru Chandradhara Sukadaro Bhavabhusuravarulu Pavanasunu Alachandradhara Sukadaro Bhavabhusuravarulu Parama Pavarulu Kanulu Sajadulu Kamala Bhavatu Sadanu Bhavulu So we can notice how even though he's just he's not actually rendering, because in one of the interviews he actually says that rendering is different than interpretation. So how much attention has been paid to the Sahityam and how it is incorporated while delivering that Kriti, the pauses, and also expanding on a certain high point in Sri Ragam and showing the grandeur of Sri Ragam and the Sahitya Bhava. Now, one other perception that is always there is when Pancharatna Kriti is rendered as a group, then we have to, usually it is taken in the Madhyama Kalam, and sometimes the amount of justice that needs to be done is not maintained. Appa had actually conducted a Pancharatna Goshti offering in an All India radio, and he conducted this. I just want to show a small glimpse of how it was rendered as a group. So I'm playing this now. interest of time, I'm moving on to the next aspect that I want to share. Appa was a great storyteller. I personally have listened to him sharing some story, but it is amazing how he was able to create that in the music. This is one thing that it's acknowledged by many Rasikas, that he gives that visualization and sets the context for the composition. So Bhavyami Raghuramam is another very popular composition that I'm sure many have heard of Sri Maharaja Sri Swati Tirunal. I just want to take a small glimpse of this Kriti, particularly the one that comes in Mohanam, which actually represents the Aranya Kandam of Ramayanam. So I'm going to play that. We can listen to this and we can feel how he sets the entire story of that Aranya Kandam composed by the great Maharaja, and how that music, through his music, he's able to share that story. So let's hear that. The volume, I'll see how. Give me 1 second. I just. So here, the way he I just highlighted few things. The very first line, the forest feeling. As we enter the forest, you want to set that context. So how he started with that, and a similar pattern was also followed in the swaram. So when you notice the swarams, he actually starts with that ga re the sa, that feeling of how, you know, a forest, you know, as somebody enters the forest, that effect is presented in swaram, which also is kind of reflective of what the sahityam is. And the Datta Anupamita, he splits and sings Datta Anupamita. That Sandhi is also, he shows that separately. And the third line, we can see that Swaraksharam, the beauty of the Swara and Sahityam, interchangeable basically. So he wanted to highlight that multiple times. He brings that out. And finally, when it goes to the Atigora Shurpanaka, the very fierce Shurpanaka, he conveys that in the way how he renders that. So this is just one illustration of how that you know, the entire story is being shared in a musical way. I just have two more clips that I want to share. This is again one another feature of my father's musical contributions is he actually took the opportunity to understand the composer's intent of the Sahityam, and he took the liberty of re-emphasizing the purpose of the objective with which it was composed. I'm just going to take this example, and it's a short clip from the very famous Amba Kamakshi Swarajati by Sri Shyama Shastri. So I'm just going to play a small clips from here. So here again, the Bhakta Jana, there was a prefix of Nija Bhakta, Parama Bhakta. So such liberty he took, and it basically it enhances the composition. So he was convinced that is something that there were some concerns raised when he was doing this, but he actually was personally convinced and that he is not interfering with the composer's intent. So he basically used this liberty and added where it made sense to enhance the composition. So I just have one more clip to share, actually two more clips. I know in the interest of time, I'm going to go through this. So in some compositions, he actually started with Anupallavi rather than with Pallavi. Many compositions are basically, especially from Tyagaraja compositions, it's just a question. It's a question that the Saint Tyagaraja is raising. So this is one example of Mokshamo Galata, which many of us have heard. Appa used to actually start with Anupallavi, and I'm just going to play a small glimpse of this. This is how he starts the Kriti. That is how he enters the Kriti Mokshamo Galada. So I think so. He actually he had this. This is something that he shared in his presidential address when he received the award of Sangeeta Kalashikamani from Indian Fine Arts. So here he refers to this as the Panchaksharam of the word music, where he says M stands for morality, U stands for universality, S for spirituality, I for individuality, and C for creativity. So this was part of his address. But what we just noticed in the last few kritis is his creative process and also the individuality, where he internalized some of these compositions and ragams, and he created that approach that he applied in his concerts and his renditions. And of course, there was a core spirituality because the Bhakti Bhavam was, as it was mentioned earlier, the Bhakti Bhavam was the core. So that is what he says here also. Spirituality is at its center and the core, reminding us that our music, why all our arts are mainly spiritual, other aspects in turn strengthening it. So this was in short how as a musician he approached. I know we have few more minutes left. I'm going to quickly go through few other slides. Appa was a Vagyakara. Now the term Vagyakara comes because he was not only a composer, but he was also a musician. So there are few musicians, when I say musicians, performing musicians, amongst his contemporaries, we can look at M. Balamurali Krishna Garu or G.N. Balasubramaniam, Lalgudi Jayaraman. These are great maestros that were also composers of prominence. Otherwise, typically what happens is there are many composers, but they were not actually concert performing musicians. So Appa was one amongst them because he was also performing and also he was a composer. And what is really amazing here is what I'm sharing here is basically he maintained a catalog in his personal collections where he had everything, whatever compositions that he created, everything was neatly written, and he picked up the mastery of Telugu. So he had his formal training in Kerala where his education happened. Then he moved to Chennai, and within 6 or 7 years, he was able to compose in Telugu and also write in Telugu. So that is what something that is extraordinary, which continues to amaze many Rasikas. So he has composed most of his compositions are in Telugu, and he has also composed shlokams, varnams, tilanas, which are getting popular. So it is being sung by different musicians nowadays. So this is another example of how his Telugu, he actually wrote in Telugu. So in fact, there are instances where he starts it could be a Tamil composition or Sanskrit composition. He starts in Telugu and then he strikes it off and then transitions to Tamil. So I just want to, I don't think I'm going to play this clip. This was part of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar's bicentenary year in 1975, where he actually composed a Nava Shloka Malika. So this is where I'm just sharing a part of it. So this is again his handwriting in Sanskrit. So Subramanya Kataksha Viksha Lahari Samrajya Samstapakam Subramanya Suvarchasadi Sahitam Subjnana Rupam Varam Sakshat Sri Nagareshu Bhakta Mamalam Sangita Samrajyadam Satvajnana Samasta Sugrna Yutam Sri Dikshitendram Bhaje.
Sadguna.
Okay, Sadguna. Sadguna Yutam Sri Dikshitendram Bhaje. So this is, again, I do have an audio of him singing this, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to move on. Okay, so in terms of awards and recognitions, he received Padma Shri in 1974, and he also received the Kerala Sangeet Natak Academy Award, Kerala State Award in 1966. This is when he received Sangeet Natak Academy Award by the Indian government in 1975. There are a few pictures of him from the concert that I'm sharing. This is all available on the web, but just wanted to share some of the pictures from his concerts. And one other thing which I want to add is he was a big Rama Bhakta. So Appa was a staunch Rama Bhakta, and he actually organized Navaham at our house. So this is on the concluding day, he invited Brahmashri Balakrishna Shastrigal, and he gave an Upanyasam. So to him, Appa was again that Sri Vardacharya and Rama and Sri Tyagaraja. Those were the three most important pillars of his life. So he was very much attached to them. Now, in terms of his legacy, again, Appa's day is being celebrated in many parts, and especially this is something happening in Kerala for the last 20 plus years. You see one gentleman here, his name is Mr. Krishnamurthy. So he is a retired art teacher who's a very ardent fan of my father, who has been organizing concerts for the last 20 years in Kerala. So he not only did that, he actually, as part of the centenary here, he uploaded more than 160 concerts in YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and search for MDR Day, you will be able to get there. So he has a very staunch, I wouldn't say the word army, but a big group of Rasikas who always listen only to my father. And that is something that continues over time. And that is what is something that's very humbling and touching for us, because that strength from all these Rasikas is definitely a power to us, and we are able to enjoy that warmth and love. There was also a MDR Memorial Center that was opened in Kerala, in his birthplace in Manjapara, by the Kerala Chief Minister. This happened a few years before COVID. That is when this was started. So, and finally, I want to share one website. This is again created by few of his fans. He wants to remain anonymous, but it's basically music of MDR. So he has actually curated a lot of content available over web, and this is something that we are continuing to enhance on this. So just something about the family. This is my mother, Srimati Vishalakshi Ramanathan. She is a huge pillar of support for my father. And this is one picture of her. I know the picture clarity is not that good, but this is when we visited Delhi. So we had the opportunity to go to Taj Mahal, and a picture that I'm sharing here. So finally, I want to close this with one small announcement. We actually are planning a centennial celebrations in Chennai on June 28th and 29th. As I mentioned earlier, it started in June in the year 2022 for centenary celebrations, and we have a function planned in Chennai later this month. So I cordially invite all the Rasikas here, and if you happen to be in Chennai, please do join us. I know I went a little over time, Dr. Prabhakar Garu. So thank you for this opportunity. Let me stop sharing here. So, namaskaram. Thank you so much.
Guru Garu, you have to unmute.
Yeah. So we are not aware of the pass of time. So absorbing your presentation, at the same time, the details about your father, 100 years, you're celebrating centenary. It's not, so they're all Varaputras and Devi Bhaktas, and they are immortal. Though the SS Sarira is immortal, although the Sarira is mortal. So they built up a wonderful Esakaya, and there is no Jara and Maranam for that. And we don't want to stop you talking, but illustrating and annotating and bring out the glory of a great musician, not simply musician. Vagyakara is the good word, who is able to sing at the same time compose. This is even in dance also, or in a teacher also, both abilities must be there. A good teacher is he who is able to be always learning, gathering knowledge, and at the same time imparting that to the interested students, and see that the double action goes like. That's what you are doing as a son, as a rightful son of your father, trying to. And another thing I see his father's handwriting is chain handwriting. You look at that. So it was the wonderful practice in earlier. My grandfather, sometimes my father, they are all used to write like that. It's a little difficult to decipher also, because you are not used to that. We're all used to the printed text. Actually, our English alphabet has got 4 modes. The writing alphabet is altogether different from the other print or text or anything like that. So that I observed, that chain handwriting, which will give a speed, and moreover, they were writing with the pen and ink. that they used to dip into the ink bottle, write down, dip in. Those days have gone, and we are enjoyed that, because at the end of the examination, we used to play throwing out the ink bottle, emptying to over each other, something like Rangoli or holy doing. So those days, the students and teachers and all that. So in that era, moreover, I am thankful that you presented the parampara, Sangeeta Gaggayakara parampara, one after the other, were all stalwarts who contributed to the music and saw that the music is a world by itself, is a ocean by itself, and one cannot divert yourself. So really, your talk is very much inspiring, and I wish that we must have a series of talks now and then, because you are introduced. It is not stopping at that, and more time you should be able to give us, because and moreover, the Endaro Mahanubhavalu is having a lot of remarkable time in our life. Because, my wife, I don't know music, I don't know appreciation. Only my sisters used to learn some music, but I was a young boy and I don't know about that much. But I got interest in development and knowledge about music only because of my Sita Ramalakshmi, my wife. And actually, when I was told that she has taken her MA degree in music, I know all people taking degrees in MA, master degree, but music MSc, MA is something new to me, especially when I was doing my PhD and all that. And my friend had told me that there is only one MA music student and all that, and a Maharashtrian friend, a German lecturer. But actually, I had to see Sita Ramalakshmi. And on the interview day, on Makara Sankranti day, she sang Endaro Mahanubhavalu in a very most melodious way. I could not stop myself, go to her house second time, make her sing the song 2 times. And that was the Manas Sankranti done. It's not Makara Sankranti, it was a Manas Sankranti. So, and today also she sang that beautiful song, Paripalaya, Paripalaya. Now and then she used to also remember M.D. Ramanathan and imitate also how beautifully, how typically and all that. So we are so much observed of today's talk, and your Preeti also maybe making comment, your wife, because she, I know Rajgopalan is there. And actually, more information we got from the Gita Srinivasan. And she not only, in the airport, she wrote down, she said, I'm waiting in the airport, I could collect some ideas about M.D. Ramanathan, and she sent it in WhatsApp, which I forwarded. And that was also some kind of knowledge to us further. And even my wife also added something in the WhatsApp regarding that. So anyway, all put together, today we had your father's Smarana, a happy day, a jubilee. It is not only M.D.R. Day, but today also is M.D.R. Day, celebrated in Nada Veda Adhyayana Kendra. And earlier also we had some talks on contemporary Vaggayakaras, because I don't know who is who, but my wife has introduced so many, and a large group. On the other hand, Annamacharya is also another great, Purandaradasa, Annamacharya, who brought music into the academic standards. And today all people are getting degree because of him. So without Purandaradasa's composition being sung, the concert is never Sampurnam. So Sampurnatvam, whenever you come to that Purandaradasa, one would understand the concert is going to come to conclusion. And then Pavamana Sududu Bhattu Padaravindamulahu will be the concert. And so this is the music concert, Sampradaya and discipline. And in Gayan Samaj and Bengaluru and all places, I have not seen M.D.R., but now you have shown so many beautiful pictures, how traditional. And looking at them is a great inspiration. How a Hindu, how a Brahmin, an Orthodox Brahmin must be like, having the juttu and also the half shaven this. That is all typical presentation. But the next generation do not know, because we're all exposed to English life. So, but however, they are there lived upon, and moreover, is bhakti to Tiger Vardachar. Don't know, it's just rightly you have put that Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. See, without Vivekananda, Ramakrishna is not known at all. And afterwards, so many Anandas have come. But their photos are there in the Ramakrishna prayer hall, but not very popular. But Vivekananda. Even in the field of poetics, Alankara Shastra, we have got Dhvanya Loka by Anandavardhana and Abhinav Gupta. These are because of Abhinav Gupta, the Dhvanya Loka. So like that, one Shishya is good enough to make the Guru immortal. And we have got parampara like that. So you are really immortal because you made your father immortal in the presentation today in the series. And I think Sita Ramalakshmi is there, whether she wants to make some comments. Sita Ramalakshmi. Yeah, she's silent. And yeah, Geeta Srinivasan is not there. So anybody wants to talk about this? No, then. Okay, Rajgopalan, please talk about it. Some comments or appreciation, because you are the introducer and you will be the wonderful contributor for this program today.
Thank you for this opportunity, and it is really a honor to thank such a wonderful presentation. Balaji, being a professional working in FedEx, he showed his professional skill to present the richness of the content his father has produced. And the way he presented it, it was thoroughly enjoyable. And in fact, I was saying, he emphasized on different aspects of his father's life, his Guru Bhakti, and his emphasis on how the presentation layer was different, even though he deviated from his gurus, but he had a strong opinion why he did it without violating the laws of the music, right? And also how I like the presentation where his father saying spirituality is the center of everything. Yes, and we can feel it when he is singing it, but he is also made it in his talk. So Balaji, thanks is too small a word for this kind of presentation you have done. You have shown such an ocean in a your father is an ocean. It is very hard, even if you sit through for weeks or months to know him. But in 1 hour, you gave a very wonderful presentation, and I hope you will share that presentation with us, or if it is copyright protected, that is, I don't infer. And for those who don't know, Balaji, he treats his father as a guru. And he had been talking to me and his son, and in his family he has got he named his son after one of the raga, Kedar, and his daughter Sahana. That is also another raga which his father always enjoyed and composed and sang and everything, so that he can always remember his father. And very few son can have, even in the present day, it is hard to find some son like that. And his son Kedar recently graduated from high school, and we were part of his solo presentation. His son is full of music, and I don't know whether he has blood and flesh and bone. He is a great harmonium player, is a great violin player, and is a very humble child like his grandfather. And I'm sure Sahana will be one up or equaling him. And I am really honored to thank this family, and thank you, Balaji, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Raj. Dr. Prabhakar Garu, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm not going to take more time. I'm just going to summarize it. The way every time I talk about my father, or even when I experience, it's like Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon can be explored from multiple ways. That is how, it can be, the more I try to know about him, there is a lot more to come. So, but again, I enjoyed, I personally enjoyed it. It was a very fulfilling experience for me to share about my father to this August gathering. So, namaskaram.
Thank you very much. See you. So I think Rajagopal, you can just conclude with the Chanti Mantram.
Yes. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvi Nabaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Veda Purusha Asirvadam Ostu. Om Tat Sat.